Hey there, it's Dennis from Schwermetallisch. I'm sitting here with Jonny Smyth of the band
Black Tree Vultures.
Yeah. 3-word bands are always a pain in the ass for my old brain.
Sorry, we like the triple barrel. Can shorten it to BTV. It's easy.
Yeah, it's like my oh god, I will have to Google many words today. I'm pretty tired and
that's okay. So am I.
What is the word for Gedächtnis? Memory, I think. My memory is pretty fucked some days, and it gets worse the longer this Corona shit show lasts.
Oh god,
I'm
don't.
falling apart.
Yeah, I'm struggling to remember what a gig actually looks or feels like at the moment.
Yeah, me too. There's something funny I just noticed when I did look at my own reflection, as I did call you a few seconds ago. I did listen a bit to your band today and realized that I got the right T-shirt for the comparisons.
Yeah.
Because your vocalist really does push all the buttons of every Metallica fan, huh?
It would appear that the guy on that record, he does sound a lot like a Hetfield.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah, but
out
sounds great.
I was told.
So searching in the interwebs, I saw that your roster had a change.
Well, we're in the middle of having a change now. I think with a lot of bands, especially around here, I don't know so much abroad, but I know definitely in the UK, a lot of bands have struggled with not being able to gig and some guys not being able to get together. And I think that's affected their mentality of how they, let's just say they weren't as passionate about it as they thought that they were. And some people's priorities change when you're not able to do some things. So it takes a lot of commitment and drive to keep at it and wanting to do it. And we had two guys who just decided, 2 days after a record come out, that they didn't want to do it anymore, and that they were prioritizing other things, which is completely understandable. Their lives is their lives to live. I can't tell them what to do, and there was no bad blood, but we just said, thank you very much, and we just parted ways. So we now have new people coming on board. I don't want to say too much about that yet, but it's we have a new singer coming in and a new bass player. So the sound of the band will change vocally, but I think musically it's going to be very similar to what we were doing because that's what we're into. But yeah, obviously you bring in a new vocalist at any time at any band, they're going to sound. Look at Sabbath with Dio and Ozzy. There are big sound differences.
Tony.
Hey.
One of my favorite Black Sabbath vocalists is Tony Martin.
Oh yeah.
I always was more of a fan of those who could really sing. So the cult factor of Ozzy is clearly not a thing you can argue about, but Ronnie James Dio is a fucking god.
Oh mate, don't! I can't. He had a band called Heaven and Hell for a while as well, which I was a big fan of. They did a song called Bible Black, which was like, oh, I loved that track. So yeah, it's a similar situation to that where we brought new people in, and all will be revealed at a later date. But we're keeping our cards very much close to our chest at the moment and doing a lot of work behind the scenes to, bring out some new things. And you can't say you've got a new singer and then not come out with any new sounds for people to hear because they're going to want to hear what you sound like. So. It's an interesting period, and the whole band now is feeling a lot better and a lot more positive moving forward. So we're just working as hard as we can behind the scenes and not giving too much away. And I don't want to give too much away on their side, otherwise I'll get in trouble.
Yeah, it's complicated to think about what's the best thing to do if you just have a record out and half of the band says, "Yeah, okay, bye."
It's not that we're still very proud of the record, and that was a good.
Yeah, of course, but I'm always thinking along the lines of, okay, Will we just do the favorite songs of our new record with the new guys again and put it out, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks after that, so the people who already bought it or pre-ordered it can see what comes next
I get what
vocally?
you mean. I think we'll keep the stuff that we have out now as the same, and I think we'll just make some focus on making some new music and putting that out there so that they can hear some new sound, because these guys are obviously songwriters in their own right, and they're going to want to contribute to music material. And I think that the best way to do that is to bring out some brand new material, because you can and then you can say, this is what we sounded like before, and this is what we sound like now. And I think that's, in our opinion, that's the best way to do it, because you can see the comparisons between two people, and you're going to get comparisons anyway. But I'm not one to shy away from history of the band and see what we had, and they can see the evolution, and people were supportive throughout the whole thing. And we'll continue to play some of those songs, and it's just going to sound different. I don't think bad is the word. Different is the word, because the vocalist will sound completely different. No two vocalists sound the same, in my opinion. So the vibe will be very much the same, and you'll feel the same energy. Just a few different people that's there to get to know now.
Yeah, but Metallica was an obvious influence. I heard
Oh yeah, it's
from the
big.
songs.
It's massive. You can't deny it. The guy had a low range, same, even delivering the same type things on stuff. So it's very difficult to stray away from that comparison. We've had a few people say that guy could out Hetfield. So we just learned to deal with it. I'm a big Metallica fan myself, so it's no problem for me. Do you know what I mean? I loved it.
Yeah, I think and the possibilities to go on with what you get are endless. I don't know. I don't have a band, but I would be, a mixture of thrilled and scared.
It's definitely interesting to go forward to see what you're going to do, because you bring in some new people and they make a different sound. But I think the songwriting that we've started to do now moving forward has been really interesting and really evolved. So it's still in the same vein of what's going on. It's still the same sort of avenue, the same road, but it's just a different. Maybe it's night and day, isn't it? So essentially, you're driving at night or you're driving at day. So it's just two different contrasting things. And when you bring in someone who's I think we still have to have someone who's a little more got some power. But I don't know. I don't want to give away too much. I know you're trying to bait the questions out of me. I'm just trying not to give away too much information, because it ruins the surprise.
I love surprises.
Yeah, everyone does. That's why we want to deliver some.
Yeah, there are surprises no one loves, but
well, I feel that. Just look back about a couple of weeks ago. I feel that's a surprise that no one loved.
Yeah, it's like there's a saying it's always great to be waking up with sex.
Yeah,
but not in prison.
No, yeah. No, I get you. That's a fair statement. Yeah, it's a nice surprise you're woken up by sex unless you're in prison. Yep.
Yeah. So you guys have been around since late 2017.
Yeah. The band was formed by myself and Aaron, the guitar player, who we're the two members who've stayed with it throughout the whole thing. We've had a few different bass players over our time, and we've done a lot. Me and Aaron both had previous bands that we were part of. We did a lot in. I was in a band called Voodoo Vegas that I spent 5 years in and did a lot of stuff with them. And Aaron had a band called Tripwire before this. So we had played together when we were kids, and we got back together after a couple of years and decided that our music influences were the same. We were into the same music. We wanted to write the same music. And then when we jammed together, it was just very natural and very connected all together. So it was one of those things that really was quite an easy decision to make when we did it. And we had the same band name. We just brought that back from when we had it as when we were younger. So it was a very easy decision, and it came together very, very naturally. So we've done a lot of work, and we did a lot of homework into what we wanted to do before we came out with it. Obviously, coming from two experienced bands, you kind of know what you want to be doing and what you want to come out with. So having that information available to us and the experience was very important, I think, in crafting this and starting it up back in 2017, which is now 4 years ago, which sounds insane, but okay.
Yeah, 4 years is relatively fresh.
Mm,
So that's cool. You're still young, and
hopefully I look it.
you look the part. Mostly, I just had an interview with a band member from the band Sacrilege
Okay.
from the UK, and that guy was I think pushing 60. So it's like, yeah, we're around since yeah, I don't know, 1982, and
Goodness.
it's you can be proud of the circumstance that you got music out
Hmm.
in the wild and in the webs, because I really do speak often speak to people that are around 30, 40 years and just managed to do their debut. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a new wave of British heavy metal. Was a movement that,
In the
yeah.
70s, that was Maiden was on that movement as well. Like there was loads of bands on that movement. We were inspired by bands on that movement as well. So it's really nice to, you know, I see some bands from around there now still coming along, and everyone's different in the speed of getting music out. But one thing we really think is important is making sure that we have music out to accompany what you sound like, because you can't expect people to come and see you if you say, "Come and see us play live." What do you sound like? I can't show you until you come to the show. So it's you kind of want to be delivering music to people, so they go, "Oh, do I like this? Do I not? Do I want to come and watch it live?" I think that's very important. But again, we've got a lot of experience coming from other bands, so you kind of know where you want to go and record. You kind of know when you want to record. You kind of know how long it's going to take, and where you put it out and where it's going to go. So it does help to do the research in it. But I mean, the new wave of British heavy metal. Yeah, what's that? 70s? Because I know Maiden was on that. Saxon as well on that, maybe.
Yeah, that was from 1979 to roughly 1983.
Mm.
It was yeah, many people refer to it to like it was a genre, but that's bollocks.
I fell. Yeah.
It was more like a petri dish, and yeah, many things we have nowadays evolved in this short period of time. You have bands that sound very much like punk rock. You have bands that are roughly edging on thrash metal already, stuff like that, and very melodic stuff like Saracen and Saxon and yeah, Maiden, and there were about, I don't know, 300-400 bands that came out in this short period of time. So you can imagine that was a wild little
Yeah,
age.
spoiled for choice on music there.
That was the golden age, and I was like, yeah, 2 years old when that ended. So I was definitely born too late.
I feel that, mate.
Yeah. So yeah, what are your general plans as a band after this whole shit show of a pandemic ends?
After this whole shit show, I might put that as the new title for the album. Well, like I said,
Shit Sharona.
shit Sharona. Oh, wait, I need a pen. Let me write that down.
You can have it. You can have it.
Thank you.
Write
TM,
it down.
Copyright. Trademark. I think the idea is just to basically, like I said, rebuild a lineup, which we're doing as quickly as we can, But the idea is not to rush what we're doing, because we want to find the right people, and that's really, really important, to find the right people who are into the same music as you, who are just as committed, and we can avoid a situation as we've had just gone, And I think being in a situation where there is no gig going on, and you've had that shit corona time going on, that we've got we've got a good period, because the people who are applying now, and applying for the vacancies and coming into this and sort of jamming with us, are very, very committed to that. I mean, we're lucky enough to be able to use a practice room that is COVID safe, so we can do this in a time where people are concerned about safety and stuff like that. But we've got a very good practice space that we use that is allowed to be open, and we can work and get in there, and everyone's safe in there. So you've got that's a nice load of. And I think the plan is just to maybe get the people on board, get them up to scratch with the songs that we have, which shouldn't take long because again the standards of what we're looking for is quite high. So if you're bad, you don't tend to come back for a second time. Do you know what I mean? Or you don't tend to even last the first audition. But the response that we've had to, the vacancies that have been available has been absolutely amazing. We did not think that we would be getting that much attention for it. I mean, it's unfortunate that we found ourselves in that position, but again, opportunities for new people, I think they've seen that they're there and they've approached it with the same attitude that we have, with the same mentality of we want to go out there and make this our job at some point, and we're willing to put the work in to get to that stage. And I think that that's something that's really important, because when you have that mindset, you can really go and achieve a lot of things because you understand the commitment that's required. So I think the plan for us now is to just find a new lineup, settle that lineup, make sure we're confident with that lineup, and then publicly announce this lineup with some new music. So, there's a lot of work for us to do. We've got a bunch of new things to get written and recorded to the right quality with the right people. And then we've got to get it advertised and put out there in the right way as well. Our management have been amazing throughout this. So, we work with them very closely to see what they're going to do and see the best course of action for us going back out there. But the idea is just to basically, I feel like we're a little bit of a new band. So obviously we have a reputation and we've done previous things. So now to come back with a new lineup, which is quite a hefty change when you change a singer, we're essentially a new sounding band. So I think it's going to be putting out some new music to see what people think. I mean, I think a lot of people will be a fan of it because we are, and we've always done stuff that's been true to what we're about and what inspired us and what motivates us. So I think that when you do something to that standard, you're always on point with some people because they're going to resonate with the music the same way that you do. So once the lineup's secure, get out there and put some new music out there, and then just hope that people like it, and then just get back to gigging as much as we can as soon as it's safe to do so, and we can go back out there and play again. I think everyone is very much itching to just go and play. I mean, I miss traveling. We did a lot of driving ourselves. I really just miss sitting in my car at 2:00 in the morning in a service station eating a shitty sandwich because there's nothing else to eat. So it's it's weird stuff like that you miss, and then you've got a whole new chance now to create experiences and bond with two new guys who've come into the band and can experience it the same way that we will, and those experiences bring you closer together as a unit, which in turn makes you better as a band. So yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot behind the scenes that we're not too, we don't sort of air our laundry on socials, but yeah, it's really, really exciting. So there's a lot going on, and I think that there'll be, hopefully the same support that we have received from the previous record and previous times going forward. I think that we'll probably experience the same support because our fan base are just absolutely amazing. So big plans in the works, and again, just to get out there and go, this is what we sound like now, and this is who we are, and I think that people will either resonate with it or they won't, and it's completely down to them, because we're ones to write music for what we enjoy, and how we express ourselves is through that medium. And I think that's probably why we've done all right so far, because we've been very true to what we're about, and we've not been writing to please anyone other than ourselves. Sorry, I've been on a rant there.
That's the best approach, I think, to always aim to satisfy oneself, and if people love what you do while satisfying your own needs musically, it's a safe bet they will stay with the band no matter what you do.
I think that's bang on the money. And I think that if you're writing music, as any band, I always say when they ask me, if you're writing music that you wouldn't listen to yourself, something's wrong there. Something's wrong. You need to, why would you expect anyone else to listen to music if you're not going to sit there and go, this is banging, I like this, so that's a key thing to, at the same time, I think if you're writing stuff that you love and everyone else hates it, maybe time to look at what you're actually writing here. But often that doesn't happen because people believe in their music, and other people could see that.
Maybe you should do a 360 and go pop music then.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Okay, now I do stuff that I hate and everyone loves, so I get money. So fuck it all. I don't know. The pop music scene nowadays is really frustrating to me, because I'm the only one in this flat listening to metal, and it's the kind of misunderstandings you have with friends or partners if they don't get why you listening to metal. It's
a big culture, isn't it? I think that it's a massive thing. You know, I remember very distinctly. I saw Iron Maiden, you know, a couple of years ago. I think this was 2017. And, you know, God forbid that was the first time I'd seen them. You know, how sacrilege. But it was one of the, you know, it's one of those things where I think it's like a religious experience because everyone there, the community that is created through that, and metal in general, I find that if you walk down the street and you see someone else who's clearly into that kind of music, you guys instantly clock, 100%. You clock each other and you're like, yes, brother, you know. Whereas I completely understand your frustrations with the modern music. You know, I hear a lot of things. Some things I'm like, okay, I can kind of hear some melody here and it sounds okay, but there's other stuff that I listen to and I'm like, what happened to the world? But you know, it seems to be selling with some people. So you know, that's it, isn't it? People treat it like a business and. Some people just churn out stuff and go, "Oh, that'll do for a while."
Yeah, it's a big difference between our metal scene and the pop music scene is that you as a band, okay, you are a product. That's clearly a fact. But when you're a pop star, it's like. It's like you are a product, but you also some kind of, I don't know, athlete, and you get sponsorships, and people want to be like you. They want to, I don't know, smell like you, and all this.
You're like
shit.
a billboard, like a billboard.
Yeah.
You're an advert essentially for whatever they're peddling, you know, through you. Whereas when it comes to rock and metal, I think that the reason you resonate with people is because that you're legitimate and you're real, and people understand that you're not. Oh, fashion, isn't it? It's like fashion. Pop music is very fashionable, whereas rock music is very dated to what it is. It's got a very specific thing, and rock and metal have a very specific image, and you know it's been modernized definitely, but at the same point, there is still true to form. There's no one is really sort of pretending behind that, you know. Whereas with pop music, you can kind of, you know, one month to the next, they're very much sometimes on a completely different sounding things, and you know, some of it again is good and catchy and it's written with hooks that are meant to do that to you. But again, it's very throwaway, isn't it? It's very you know, you don't see stuff like, you know, the chart music that you see now. I don't see much of that, you know, worming its way into culture. Not the likes of sort of like Creedence Clearwater Revival do. AC/DC, you know, these bands have woven themselves into pop culture. Whereas some other bands that have a bit like a one hit single or you know, one hit wonder don't tend to do the same thing or have the same level of legitimacy about them. They don't seem to be real. They seem to definitely be just fake in this. They put out what they want to be put out and seen by. Whereas when you have rock musicians and metal musicians, you know, not only them, but you know, real people who are passionate about what they do and the sounds they make, you can definitely see that they don't want to do that because they want to be liked. They don't even want to be liked or loved. They just want to express what they are. And when they do that, and people are attracted to that because they relate to it and they feel that they can connect with that because their struggles are being vocalized by these other people.
Yeah, it's a difference between a band and a brand.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it's like, and if you decide on the next album, we will be different. We will sound different. So you as a band decide. That's, I don't know, 4 or 5 people, and maybe the management is involved in this decision. But if you're a pop star, you have a team behind you and a marketing machine that decides, okay, we will readjust the sound, we will readjust your image and how you look and how your hair looks and all this stuff. It's a big machinery of soulless ghouls sucking the blood out of this fucking world.
I love that. It's the difference between a band and a brand. That is perfect, man. That is like the perfect statement. Do you mind if I use that? I love that.
Use that.
That's perfect. I love that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about stuff like that very often. so that's what happens in my head. Yeah, I always try to understand the differences between these genres and these worlds, because I want to understand people like my girlfriend. She's very smart, but she she listens to stuff like that, and I always want to understand why that is. This is the fact. Why do you do that?
It's very difficult to say. I can understand some pop music, I think, just due to the sound. There's certain melodies that will jump out to me in songs, and I'll go, "Oh, I like that melody. That's good." And I think a lot of people are that way inclined, where they hear something that gets stuck in their head, and they just want to hear that section of music over and over and over again. And pop music is one for that. You know, reusing the same hook over and over and over again. But you know, I will say some of it is okay in my opinion, but a lot of it is a bit ropey, and some of it I don't understand completely, you know. But
the explanation I will use to make clear what happens in the head of someone who listens to pop music and thinks, okay, this song rocks, is if music makes this with me, I like it. And as a metalhead, you think, no music ever did this. Never. It was like, okay, I'm getting the itch. I want to play air guitar. I want to sing along. I want to move. I want to drink a beer. You know, there is some kind of music that really just makes you fucking thirsty. Did you ever listen to the band 77?
I haven't, no.
They sound exactly like AC/DC in the 70s with Bon Scott.
Okay.
And it's like I said at the Rock Art Festival in Germany, and it was I don't know 11:30 in the morning, and I sat there and we're listening to them, and yeah, the crowd was very very little at that time. And they play for about 5 minutes, and I had to order my first beer. It was like, oh God, I need a beer. This is good.
Oh, that's great music. I think that when they just create the atmosphere of let's have a party, let's have a good time type thing. And
it was a great day. It was a great day. It was hot as fuck. It was
that helps.
Like an arena. The spot where they play the festival in Gelsenkirchen in Germany. It's a amphitheater.
Okay, yeah, amphitheater, yeah.
It's like it's a half circle, and that was really cool. And I think that's the difference. We got different approaches to what we need from music when we listen to it, and that's what specifies what you want to listen to or what you have to listen to. It's not like I could just say, okay, now I'm listening to pop. I'm done with metal.
Yeah, I know what you mean. No, but I've got a lot of friends who I can't say that virtually never happens. There's always, you can't escape it. Even if if your taste evolves and you move into something else, you still can't. If you hear the music that you know the metal stuff, you're like, it's still good though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You still can't escape it.
Yeah. I know there's a kind of a type of person, a type of human being that always comes around like I used to listen to rock and metal, but now I'm only listening to hip hop, and it's like it's nice to say something like this, but it's just empty shells, not real words. Because if you really were into metal and rock, you can't get out of that. It's like a bad trap.
Yeah, I agree. It is 100%. Works its way into your soul.
You're lost. Let's get back to the interview part of this. Sorry. No, I always love it when the chat escalates, because if you just ask questions, it's like, okay, hi, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, very stagnant. Doesn't seem real, does it?
Yeah, and that's just boring for me, for you, and for the audience. So one question I always ask every band is if you could just tour with any lineup you could ever imagine. Any band you like, what would this lineup look like?
Oh, that's hard. That's hard. That's hard. I would. I mean, there's a few. There's a few I would pick. I mean, I would do Maiden back in the day, you know, when they were a bit younger. But again, Iron Maiden for me have just been a band that have gotten better and better and better. So there's no real dip in quality there. Iron Maiden, sort of maybe around 2000 period would be good. Metallica again, 90s period. I would love to have played a show with them because it seemed wild. Megadeth as well, another one. Any of these bands I would literally just die to go on tour with. But if you're looking at something now more modern, I would probably say, you know, I'd love to go and play with the likes of like Shinedown. Blackstone Cherry would be another one I'd like to go and play with. So many bands is around. I think just the guys who are amplifying a good time when you're playing live, and when they go out and put a show on that gives an audience something to remember and provides an atmosphere in the room that's just inescapably good. Anything that any band like that's providing that, I'd be more happy to be part of a tour with those guys, because it's just you're creating an environment that is almost the opposite of toxic. It's so overwhelmingly euphoric. It's amazing.
You're literally the first person ever to answer this question in a very Bill and Ted kind of way.
Sorry.
It's like, okay, I would travel to the 90s, take Metallica, travel to the 2000s, and take Iron Maiden.
I've got a phone box at the back. It's just I go in there and pop back in time. Yeah,
it's that cell. Yeah. Did you see the third part?
I've not seen it yet. Have you? Is it good?
It's okay. It's really okay. It's not the best movie ever. It's not gonna get an Academy Award, but the first two didn't get an Academy Award too. So
is it on the par with the first two? Because I loved the first two.
No, it's not on par, but it's a nice way of wasting your time.
Okay, I'll check that one out. That's a good way of putting it. That is a good way of putting it. Is it good? That's a good way to waste your time.
It didn't make me mad to spend my time with this movie.
Okay, all right.
Let's put it that way. There are movies
recommendation.
when you think, whoa, that was a total waste of my time, and if I ever get the chance to punch the director in the face, I will do it. It was not like that.
Okay, all right. I'll take that as a good review.
Yeah, that's a good review. So you guys are all fans of Black Sabbath and Metallica, or just you and the former vocalist?
Well, I mean, you're going to sound surprised, but the former vocalist didn't actually like Metallica, or he claimed not to like Metallica. So I mean, funny, right? Just me and the guitar player, we have a lot of similar crossovers in influence. You know, stuff like Metallica, Iron Maiden's definitely big on my part. Megadeth is massive on my part. Y&T, big band on my part. Aaron, you know, Hams is more into stuff like AC/DC. He's his favorite band. He's into the Sabbath way more than I'm into Sabbath. What else is Hams into? Hams is into, you know, a little more of the classic stuff to me. You know, he likes oh bloody hell! He's a massive AC/DC fan, like huge. Like I've never seen anyone as quite into it as he is. But then, like when you take those are sort of all kind of interchangeable with, you know, they kind of go well together. So you can make both those styles work really well together. And then, you know, we both share a love of Metallica to quite a great extent. And you know, Maiden, a similar thing. We've both seen them, you know, a few times, and we both get the same experience coming away and heavily inspired.
I got an Aces High tattoo on my arm.
I've got on my shoulder here, I've got a Killer's tattoo as well, and I've got a Metallica one on my leg. So I feel you're there, man. It's great. I mean, it's difficult to say really. We kind of grew up around the same period, so we were inspired and motivated in our youth by bands like Bullet for My Valentine, and you know, that was like the era of stuff that we were listening to coming up. And when you hear like Blackstone Cherry and Shinedown were what we considered kind of new bands, but again, they're all bands that inspired us to the same standard, and that's kind of the influences that we're sharing there. And And to be honest with you, I don't want to say too much about the new guys coming in, but I mean, we really don't know them that well yet, so it's difficult to tell you what they're into. But I guess from what we've been playing and how we've been moving forward, they are sharing similar influences as well, because otherwise they just wouldn't be gelling off of the atmosphere and vibe that we were putting out to them. And we've asked the question if they like these bands, and they said yeah, we love these guys. So they say that they do, but it's just about finding the more finer details of what they're into.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm really curious and thrilled to hear the next vocalist.
So, mate, so am I. I've not been in the studio yet, so until we get into the studio and hear what it sounds like on a record, I'm very, I'm very, very interested. But the guy's a very good songwriter, very good songwriter. His job is a producer. That's his day job. So he works. His normal job is he works in the industry, making records for people. So
as long as he can sing.
Well, you'd like to think we've got good enough ears on our heads to be able to judge that fairly well. But you spent a long time gigging. A lot of this can be damaged. But I'm not going to cover that now. I'm sure he's going to do great. No, he is going to do great. He's going to be great. He's going to be
I thought more on the lines of you seem like you're very enthusiastic, and one moment I will Google that word because I'm shitty at English.
That's fine. My German is something to be desired as well. I'm sorry. I speak a little bit, but very, very not enough to maintain a conversation with you. And I would embarrass myself with my accent.
Ambitious. Yeah.
Ambitious. Well, I think if you don't believe in what you're doing, and you don't have enough faith and belief in it, why would anyone else ever believe in you? And I think that's something that's really important. And me and Ham especially have a thing where we need to whenever we write something new, we listen back to it after a couple of days, because once you've written it, you're like, this is great. You need to give yourself some days to come down and come away from it and go, is this actually to a good standard? Are we going to put this out and say this is what we are and what we want to create? And I think that if you're going to make the effort, and we would like to do this for our jobs at some point, and make it our permanent position to earn money. So when you're doing that, you have to be competing with these big bands, and the bands that inspired us and connected with us. We're trying to put our passion across the same way, so that other people can hear what we do and potentially be inspired to the same standard that we were. And I don't think that you'll be able to do that if you don't have any belief in yourself, and you don't actually have any legitimacy in the music that you're putting out. So if you believe in what you're doing, I think it's very easy for that to come across to the audience, because they can sense that you do, and they can hear that you do, because there's a lot that's gone into it. It's not just a case of, we'll bang this together and shove it out there, because that's just not how we operate anyway. I don't know about everyone else, but I think there's probably a lot of people who operate under that mantra. I just think it's very important to be putting out the best that you can. And so if when people ask you questions like, why did you do this, or why did you do that in that song, you're like, because I wanted to. It sounded nice. I heard it in this song, or I was inspired by this song to do something similar. And I wanted to capture that same inspiration and belief that we had for other things and put it into our music, because it resonates with us. So yes, it may be a bit too ambitious, but I don't know. I very much believe.
No, I think in the music business, okay, you can be too ambitious.
Yeah, that's true.
If you I don't know, kill people for success, that's maybe a bit too ambitious. But you need to have that to in order to be successful.
It is a very tough industry, and I think that you need to just there's a lot of drive that goes into it. We're four blokes who do it for no money at the moment, or very minimal money to cover our costs. So when you're doing that, you've got to be really driven forward to go forward.
The one thing you need aside from ambition is of course endurance, and that is the thing that the guys that left you seem to lack. But I understand their position as well, because at this point in time with the pandemic that is fucking us dry.
Well, yeah, I completely agree, and it is there's a stamina involved, and there is a commitment and a passion. You need to have a passion for what you do, otherwise it will become overwhelming. And if you don't view it as something that you're all about and that you're all consumed by and is part of your very soul, you'll struggle to do it, because it's not for, you know, the lighthearted, you know, people who would rather sit in the pub or you know, watch TV or you know, go on dinner dates and stuff like that. You know, if you want to do that, that's fine, but you know, there's a level of sacrifice that goes into anything that you do, and to be successful. You know, I always say, don't let your foot off the gas until you're at the top of the hill, because you know, you're climbing this ever evolving mountain, and you're always wanting to evolve, and competition is very fierce, and it's about approaching it with the right mindset, and you know, we have a very strong work ethic of creating an environment of positivity, especially between myself and my guitar player, and we, you know, we've learned lessons for how the stuff went previous, and we're very lucky to be able to take those lessons and implement them now with new people who want to come into this, and you create an environment of support and positivity, and it's a duty to each other to lift each other up when someone's struggling, to keep them and go, no, we can do this, man, we're all in it with you, and we're all together. And I think that people who really understand and resonate with that will take, they'll be there for the right reasons. And I think that when you're there for the right reasons, it's virtually impossible to be demotivated, unless you lose an arm or something, you know. It's a little different there.
The drummer of Def Leppard would argue about that.
Yeah, he disagree with me there. Yeah, I think he's done all right.
He's still going strong.
Yeah,
it's just it's like life itself. It's a fight.
100%. Yeah, 100%. So it's a bigger commitment, and people don't, you know, realize that especially when you start out and you're trying to sort of crack some sort of reputation and income, it's difficult, because you work in two jobs. You know, you're working your normal job to pay your bills and stuff and fund what you're doing, and then you're spending your free time away from that doing the thing you love, traveling, and you know, it's a lot to ask someone, you know. And I think that's when people understand that, and you can see in their eyes kind of, and they got their drive and they're up for it, then it's hard to not, you know, they know what they're getting into. Do you know what I mean? They don't think it's going to be a case of, oh, I just turn up on a Friday and then that's it. You know, there's a lot more to it than that. So
the funny thing about that situation and the music business is, I'm spending really much of my time with bands and reviews and interviews and videos. I edit, I cut, and even I don't think I know what what you are doing on tour. Even I do think, okay, maybe you miscalculating what kind of endurance you need to do this, and to start a band with 40 is maybe a bad idea.
Well, you never know. Steel Panther seemed to cracked it late on, didn't they?
Yeah, maybe it was just be different than like doing that in your 20s. It's more like you sit in the tour bus and drink a tea and yeah.
That sounds about right. We drink sometimes a lot more tea than we do beer sometimes, but don't say that. Just cut that part out. We drink loads of beer all the time, even behind the wheel. No, not behind the wheel. Cut that bit out as well.
I'm drunk now.
Yeah, I'm drunk now. Fuck it.
Yeah. So yeah, that were the questions I had. I'm out of ammunition for today, and I would really love to hear from you guys when there's new news.
I think we could do that. I mean, I tell you what, we'll definitely stay in touch, and what I'll do is, as soon as we have a new lineup announcement, maybe we get these guys on with me, and we do maybe a group thing where we can have a couple of us in, and you know, you can ask these new guys some questions that I can not answer on their behalf, because I can tell you anything, and that might not be true. They might be like, oh no, I don't think that at all. So how about we do that, and then maybe we can come on and talk about what the new music will sound like, and what the CD and stuff will be called, and move forward like that. But I'm more than happy to do that. That'd be great, actually. This is a great conversation. This is one of the best interviews I've ever done. And not only because we've got to talk about metal.
I think that's maybe due to the fact that I don't know what I do.
Well, none of us really know what we're doing, mate, if it makes you feel any better. I've been winging it since 2015, so...
Yeah, it's just smoke and mirrors, everything.
That's it. That's exactly it. Yeah, you're not wrong. That's bang on the money. That's what you should... That's what I'm going to call the next album, Smoke and Mirrors.
And don't forget, Shit Show Rona.
Shit Sharona. Shit Sharona. That's it. I'm writing that down.
Reminds me of an 80s song, but hey.
my Sharona.
Yeah. So I will leave you to the rest of the evening with your missus, and I will attend mine.
Fantastic. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, sir.
Yeah. I think so too.
Hopefully. I thought you were going to slam me now. I thought you were like, "No, I've hated every minute of this. You've been horrible."
No, I just sometimes struggle with. I know what I think, but I don't know how to express it because it's still a foreign language for me.
Man, you're smashing it. You're doing amazing. My accent probably doesn't help. I'm apologizing, but you did great.
No, I did understand you perfectly, but it's always thrilling to speak to people from the UK because there's so many dialects and different phrasings, and it's delightful.
Oh, thank you very much. Right, been a pleasure to talk to you, sir. Take it easy, and we'll speak again, I'm sure.
Yeah, make it so.
Definitely.
Bye, Jonno.
Cheers, man. See you later.
See you later.